The Vikings beat the 49ers 22-17. Did the Vikings save their season, though? Did the Vikings save their season? Before we touch on the game, let's just quickly look at their schedule after this 49ers match. They get the Packers, who have not looked good. Love started the season looking kind of good, but now he's been struggling. I think the Vikings could win that one. Falcons get a last-minute winner this week, but no one trusts their quarterback. I think the Vikings could potentially win that one. That'll put them at 5-3. Then they get the Saints. No one really believes in the Saints. We've seen Derek Carr. We see how Derek Carr screams, yells at his teammates on primetime. Not a good look. Not a good look. I would say the Vikings have a very good chance to beat the Saints. Then they get the Broncos, and I think the Broncos won this week, but no one believes in the Broncos. The Vikings, that's another winnable game. The Bears won this week too. They beat the Raiders. Sorry, that's a whole other story for the Raiders. Sorry, Raider fans out there. But the Vikings could definitely win that one. Then they play the Raiders, who just lost to the Bears, who are a mess, who probably have the worst coach in the NFL, Staley and McDaniels, duking it out for who's the worst coach in the NFL. Then they get the Bears again. And then, not me, I'm just playing. My bad, I'm reading this wrong. They get the Bears, they get the Raiders, they get the Bengals. That one should be tough. They get the Lions, that one should be tough. Then they get the Packers, and then close with the Lions. So not gonna lie, Vikings Packers in Lambeau, I'm picking the way they're going right now. I'm picking the Vikings. And then against the Falcons, I'm picking the Vikings. Against the Saints, I'm picking the Vikings. Against the Broncos, I'm picking the Vikings. Against the Bears, I'm picking the Vikings. Against the Raiders, I'm picking the Vikings. Against the Bengals and the Lions, that's a little tough. And then the Packers and then the Lions. So I'm not gonna lie, like if they could string some wins, but that's the thing though. They're not having the best season. They're not having the luck that they had last year. They're not winning these close matches, one possession games as they were last year. So they need to get it together. But Cousins, let's talk about Cousins real quick. Let's talk about Cousins. He gets a lot of slander, rightfully so. Sometimes he does be doing some dumb plays. He's not very mobile, and some of these bad plays that he does is when his mobility is being displayed. So like he's scrambling and you're seeing how he's struggling to scramble. He's like wobbling, trying to scramble. So you're already like, this doesn't look appealing to the eye. And then he makes a bad throw after already not looking appealing. And it just combines. Everything just combines into like, man, that looked terrible. Like you're seeing him scramble and you're seeing him struggle to scramble. And then he throws the ball bad. And it gets intercepted, and you're just like, that was just a very ugly play. And he does that a lot, or like it's happened in primetime moments. But I will say that like his numbers are not bad. He does throw a pretty nice spiral, not gonna lie. He throws the ball deep well, in my opinion. And for what he produces, he gets a lot of hate. Like, to be honest, he probably puts up similar like everyone. I've seen the comparison where they check Cousins' numbers and they compare him against Dak Prescott, and they're like pretty similar. And Dak Prescott does a lot of those mistakes too, where you're like, come on. And he's definitely rated above Cousins, like in the general consensus. And obviously, Cousins could do better in primetime games. Cousins could do better in the playoffs. But I think he's a serviceable quarterback. He gets the job done for the most part. And like his defense has let him down in those primetime games, or like there's been other circumstances where it's just not Kirk Cousins. It's the team. So I'm happy for Kirk Cousins to get this victory without Justin Jefferson, with Jordan Addison leaving with the injury for a little bit. I think he had cramps. With TJ Hawkinson leaving, like he got it done against this vaunted defense. Like my dude was throwing the ball around, and especially with the early interception. Like, not gonna lie, that shows the toughness and the mental fortitude that Cousins has. Like, you don't come into the league as a 4th round pick behind a quarterback that was selected 2nd overall, win that quarterback battle after he gets hurt. You know, go to a different team and get a completely guaranteed contract, be a starter for like going now on like 10 plus years, you don't do all of that as a fourth round pick if you're not mentally strong. And he's shown that he's mentally strong, dude. For all the hate he gets, for all the criticisms, like he's still there putting up numbers. Throws a pick like in the first 5 plays of the game, first 3 plays. I forgot how soon it was because I was out walking Mackie Bear, our dog, from the house. But he throws an early pick, and then he responds with 35 out of 45, 378 yards, and 2 touchdowns the rest of the way. Without Justin Jefferson, with Addison and Hawkinson going down. And he was just finding other people. Like, as soon as Addison went down, he started finding Powell. I think KJ Osborne got some catches. Like, he was... And then there was some crazy stat that the 49ers had not allowed a third... Like, only 1 third down that was 10 or more yards. The rest up to this point in the season. So, for the Vikings to convert some of those this game... super impressive stuff. Kirk Cousins, I tip my hat to you. I'm so glad you got this moment in prime time, at home, school. Like, it was a great game by Cousins. It was a great game. Like, he looked very composed. He stood in the pocket strong. He scrambled it a little bit. He looked good. On the other side of the field, Brock Purdy had a very rough ending. Like, he didn't play bad for the most part. He did have those 2 interceptions, but like that last quarter, those last interceptions, those throws, like, you just cannot make. That first interception, bad throw. Like, yeah, his receiver got kind of pushed off his route, and he kind of it looked like he was gonna go for a corner route, and then he goes for the post. I think maybe Purdy thought he was just gonna go straight to the post and not corner. I don't know if there was miscommunication. Like, first he got rerouted, and then maybe Purdy thought that he was going to go straight to the post and not do a corner post. I don't know. The timing was hella bad on that throw, and the route looked very weird. Like, he definitely got bumped off his intended trajectory when he was running that route. But it's just, no one's really going to hyper-analyze that. Most fans are just going to see that the pass was way in front of him in the middle, and pretty much when the safety caught that, there was like a 5 to 10 yard radius between him and the receiver. So it just looked like a very terrible throw. No matter what the situation was, or what the miscommunication was, or whatever the situation was that led to the receiver maybe not being in that spot or being so far away from the throw, whether it was just Purdy throwing a bad pass or the receiver running a bad route or a little bit of both. No one's really going to hyperanalyze that. People are just going to remember Brock Purdy threw it down the middle, far away from his receiver. It looked like a bad pick. Bad look from Purdy. But, their defense gets a little bit of a stop. They get lucky. The Vikings miss the field goal, and they get, a minute plus to go drive down the field to attempt to get a game-winning touchdown. And couldn't get it done. Throws another pick. I kind of saw what he's trying to do. He's trying to lob it over the defender. Didn't get enough air on it. Pick. GG. Game over. And I'm not going to say he's a fraud. Not going to say that. I know people are going to call him a fraud. They're going to jump on this. Nick Wright has been all over this saying, yeah, he looks good when the Niners are up, but inevitably he's going to be down at some point, and they're going to have to, he's going to have to bring him back. And he hasn't shown, or he hasn't even had the opportunity to show that he could do that. And he was saying that in his heart of heart, he didn't believe that he could do it. And this is the first time that Purdy really gets put in that situation, other than last week against the Browns, where he kind of did bring him into field goal range and they missed it. But like this is, he needed a touchdown. This was even more, this like another level to that. Like the other one, you needed a field goal. He almost threw an interception on the first pass. He still got them there. Kicker missed it. All right. This one, they needed a tutty. No timeouts. Let's go down the field. Let's win this. Can't get it done. So that's back-to-back weeks where he doesn't get it done. First one, although he should have thrown the pick in the first pass, he did get them down there for the field goal. Missed field goal. It is what it is. This time, they need a tutty. Field goal won't do it, and he doesn't come through. So can't really criticize him too much for last week, although he did almost throw the pick. At the end of the day, he did get them to the field goal position, and the kicker missed it. This time, throws an ugly pick, and doesn't get it done. But like I said, he's on fraud watch. He's not a fraud yet. Like, the running game wasn't that good this particular game. They were behind most of the game. For the most part, he played a clean game other than the interceptions. But like I said, he's definitely going to be put in this position again, and we'll see if he comes through. But, for all those people that were saying he's an MVP or he's a top 5 quarterback now, top 10 quarterback, like, gotta chill. Be smooth. A little too soon. Everyone likes to jump at, the headlines. Like, everyone's trying to crown people before they should get crowned. Like, let's be smooth. Let's chill out. Let's give Purdy the whole season and then the playoffs, and then we could make a proper assessment of who he is. Still very early in his career. And like I said, other great quarterbacks have failed trying to get their teams back into positions. Like, just because they have a good team and you're regarded as a good quarterback doesn't mean you're gonna get it done every single time. As a former San Diego Charger fan, I held Phillip Rivers in a high regard, and there's a lot of times where he couldn't get it done. Only the real greats like Brady and Manning are like really, really expected to get it done most of the time. There's a lot of times where you're just not gonna get it done, and he threw a pick trying to make a play. Like, it's not like he didn't. Like, I would rather have that than just not throw the ball, get sacked, and then nothing happens. At least he went out slinging. It is what it is. As a 49er fan, if you were a 49er fan, I think everyone is eager and maybe a little anxious to see how Purdy bounces back from this. Especially in the next situation that this arises. Like, he's going to have the Bengals next, so it might even happen next week. Like, Bengals have turned their season around. They're a tough team. If he gets put in this position again, how is he going to react? And is he going to let this get to his head? Like, this is really the first rough patch. This is really the first harsh criticism that he's getting. Last week, there's a lot of stuff that you could defend him. The Brown defense was regarded as the best one in the league at the time. So that was one of the excuses. He lost a lot of his players during that game. So that's another excuse. And then at the end of the day, he got them into the field goal position for the game-winning field goal or game-tying field goal. No, game-winning field goal. And the guy missed it. So those are the excuses he had last week. He doesn't have those this week. Let's see how he bounces back against the Bengals. But overall, I think what we should take away from this is Cousins balled out. Cousins looked secure in the pocket. Cousins looked comfortable in the pocket. Cousins looked like he belonged. And I'm happy for Cousins. Like, that he balled out without JJ, with Addison going down for a little bit, with Hawkinson going down. Homie, it didn't matter. He said, I'm going to get it done. I'm going to save our season. I'm going to keep us afloat 3-4. Couple more weeks till Jefferson comes back. We'll see if he's able to come back, pretty soon. But at 3-4, the Vikings have definitely saved their season. And back-to-back losses for the 49ers. Purdy is on fraud watch, but he's not a fraud yet. Let's let it play out. And definitely Bengals versus 49ers this upcoming week is going to be one of the games of the week. Like, I'm very excited to see how that plays out.